Alrighty, folks, you know I'm feeling great on a Friday morning because I'm now 11-2 on my last 13 daily best plays on my premium page. That's good for 85% during that stretch. And the best part is, folks, I have another $1.99 daily best play going off here today. And if you sign up for that membership here today on my premium page, you're going to get access to that package every single day for the next 30 days. The math works out to be just 6 cents a day. And if you feel like maybe you'd want more than just one premium selection a day, well, you may want to think about joining my full access, all-inclusive chairman membership. And I'll explain a little bit more about that in just a moment. Now, some of you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on YouTube and what I do on my premium page. Well, what I do here on YouTube is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side and total. What I do on my premium page is I actually share with you which one of these free picks I like the best. I currently have over 700 members who are signed up and active on my premium site right now. And once again, folks, if you want to get access to every single personal play of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days, you may want to think about signing up for my full access, all-inclusive chairman package. And like I just said, you're going to get access to every single personal play of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to my chairman podcast absolutely free. It's going to be included with your purchase. Now, I'm currently 11-2 on my last 13 daily best plays, 9-4 on my last 13 extra daily picks. And finally, folks, you're going to want to listen up here. I'm a perfect 6-0 in my last 6 chairman membership tier package picks on that premium page. And the great news is, folks, I have plays going off in all of those packages here today. Once again, the premium page is called patreon.com/BrockPage. I have a link for that site in the description section below. And with that, folks, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. We're going to start off with the Diamondbacks at the Cubs, 2:20 p.m. East. Arizona's the $1.20 favorite on the road, total 7.5. And, of course, they're favored because it's Zach Gallen on the bump for Arizona, Jameson Taillon for Chicago. And even though Taillon's numbers stink, well, the Cubbies play good for the guy, and that's really all that matters. Chicago got the W in 8 out of Taillon's last 11 starts. The Cubbies have also been pounding the baseball in the friendly confines this year. They're a top 3 run-producing lineup on their home field. Cody Bellinger's got the 5th highest batting average in the majors, 7th highest OPS. Meanwhile, Nico Hoerner's the team leader in hits. They're facing an Arizona team who hasn't played well for starting pitcher Zach Gallen recently. The D-backs took the loss in 7 out of their last 10 Gallen starts. And as good as Gallen's been this year, the D-backs typically as a team, they don't pitch well on the road. These guys, their pitching staff's allowing just about 5.1 runs a game in their travels this year. Arizona did see the overcash in their last 3 straight Gallen starts. Meanwhile, the Cubs saw overs in 3 out of their last 5 Jameson Taillon starts. Give me the Cubs plus $1 over 7.5. Next matchup, the other Chicago team. It's the White Sox at the Tigers, 6:40 p.m. East. Detroit's minus 130 at Comerica Park. Totals 8.5. Reese Olson for Detroit. Mike Clevinger for Chicago. Now, Clevinger comes into today's contest with an ERA in the 3s. And believe it or not, these Chicago pitchers have struck out an awful lot of hitters this year. Chicago's in the top 3 in the American League in strikeouts per 9 on the road. They're facing a Detroit lineup who's one of the worst in the league at hitting the baseball. The Tigers average fewer runs a game than any other team besides Oakland. And if you think starting pitcher Reese Olson can keep them in it, just keep in mind Olson's 3-6 with an ERA of 4.65. Now, the Tigers saw their last 4 straight at Comerica Park stay under the total. They're also 8-2 to the under in their last 10 at any location. Can't talk today, man. Having problems. Give me the White Sox plus $1.10, under 8.5. Next game, Mariners Rays, 6:40 p.m. East. Could be a preview of a playoff matchup here. Seattle's minus $1.20, totals 8. George Kirby for Seattle, Taj Bradley for Tampa Bay. Now, Bradley's been a bit of a weak link for this Tampa rotation. The Rays, they're pitching very well this season, but Bradley's contributed minimally. As a matter of fact, the righty Bradley's just 5-7 on the year with an ERA of 5.42. And out of Bradley's last 7 starts, the Rays got the W only one time. They're facing a Mariner club who really turned it on offensively after the All-Star break. These guys are now a top 5 run-producing lineup in the American League on the road. Julio Rodriguez, he has the 7th most RBI in the major leagues. He's the club leader in hits and home runs as well. Rodriguez currently has a wins above replacement average of 5.2. Meanwhile, J.P. Crawford's a big on-base guy himself. He's got a wins above replacement close to 5 as well. And even if the M's struggle in the box here today, they've got a good one in 10-win George Kirby. The righties punched out 145 batters, and he's got a stingy 1.05 whip. Now, injury-wise, Manny Margot still out for the Rays. Taylor Walls is questionable. 3 out of Tampa's last 5 at the Trop did get over the total. Seattle went 4-3 to the over in their last 7 road games. Give me Seattle minus $1.20, over 8. Next game, Cards Reds, 6:40 East. Cincinnati's $1.25 at home. Totals 10.5. Andrew Abbott for Cincinnati. Drew Rom for St. Louis. Rom's 0-2 through just 13-plus innings. The lefties already got an ERA in the 7s along with a 1.90 whip. Not a great start for the youngster. And that's really been the story with the Redbirds this year, their lack of pitching. St. Louis is allowing nearly 9.7 hits a game. Of course, they're facing a Cincy club on the other side who won 4 out of their last 6 themselves. And they had little issue at the plate during that stretch. Spencer Steer's the club leader in homers, RBI, and hits. And hey, that Ellie De La Cruz guy, he's got a bunch of extra base hits. And he does lead the roster in stolen bases. Now, the Reds probably won't need a whole lot of run support here today with Andrew Abbott on the bump. The lefty's 8-4 with an ERA of 3.22. Give me the Reds minus $1.25, over 10.5. Next game, Dodgers Nationals, 7:05 Nation's Capital. The LA Dodgers are minus $1.65 on the road, totals 9.5. Emmett Sheehan for Los Angeles, Mackenzie Gore for Washington. Now, Gore's recorded double-digit losses. He's got an ERA in the 4s. For these Nationals pitchers, they've also been pretty bad in the nation's capital this year. They're allowing over 9.4 hits a game in their own stadium. And that's certainly bad news for Washington backers here. If you bet on the Nationals, just keep in mind they're facing a Dodger club who scores more runs a game on the road than any other roster in the league. And if you think you're going to pitch around them, maybe be cute, not throw them strikes, well, hey, the Dodgers lead the major leagues in walks at the plate as well. As easy as they can hit it out of the park, they'll stand there and be walked. They'll take a free base. They don't care. Mookie Betts, he has an OPS in the thousands. He's always on base. He's actually in the top 5 in the majors in home runs, RBI, and OPS. Meanwhile, Freddie Freeman, he's got the 5th highest OPS average in the big leagues himself, 3rd highest batting average. 7 out of LA's last 10 ball games did get over the total. Meanwhile, Washington went 4-2 to the over in their last 6 at Nationals Park. Give me the Dodgers minus 165, over 9.5. Next ball game, Marlins Phillies, 7:05 Eastern first pitch. Philadelphia's minus $1.50, totals 9. Christopher Sanchez for Philadelphia, Yuri Perez for Miami. And as much as I want to give you a freebie on this This game is being featured as my $1.99 daily best play on my premium page. So if you want to see whether I'm making a play on the Marlins, Phillies, or on the total in this one, you may want to think about signing up for my $1.99 daily best play on patreon.com/BrockPage. The link for that site is in the description section below. And if you sign up for that membership here today, you're going to get access to one of my premium selections every single day for the next 30 days. The math works out to be just 6 cents a day. And once again, guys, I have over 700 people who are signed up and active on my premium page right now. Once again, I apologize, but no free pick for that game there. All right, next matchup. It is going to be Brewers at the Yankees, 7:05 Eastern first pitch. The Bombers are minus $1.25 in the Bronx here tonight. Totals 9 runs. Luis Severino for the Pinstripers. Colin Ria for Milwaukee. And even though Ria's allowed his fair share of runs, he doesn't have a losing record. He's got a whip of 1.24, and Ria's just 9 strikeouts shy of the century mark. And to be honest with you, this Milwaukee pitching staff is arguably one of the best in the National League. They allow fewer hits per 9 than any other pitching staff in the entire major leagues right now. And of course, they're facing a Yankee lineup who just can't hit the baseball, especially at home. They're averaging just 7.2 hits a game at Yankee Stadium. They're nearly worst in the league in that particular category. And if you think Severino is going to keep them in this one, if you think Severino is going to keep this one close, well, you're just not seeing the Severino of years past. The righty's 4-8 on the season with an ERA close to 7. Now, the Yankees went 8-2 to the under in their last 10. 4 out of Milwaukee's last 6 road games stayed under the total themselves. Give me the Brewers, plus 105, under 9. Next contest, Royals, Blue Jays, 7:07 Eastern first pitch. Toronto's minus 240 at home, totals 9 runs. Yusei Kikuchi for the Jays, Colin Snyder for Kansas City. And out of just 10-plus innings of work this year, the righty Snyder's got himself a whip of 1.59. Now, as a team, the Royals lost 7 out of their last 10. They've consistently had problems getting base runners this year. The Royals are currently dead last in hits per game on the road. They're facing Yusei Kikuchi, who's been very challenging to hit against. The lefty's 9-5 with an ERA in the 3s. He's also punched out 152 hitters. And even if the Cooch man stinks here today, he is backed by one of the best hitting lineups in the game. Toronto's a top 3 hit-producing team in the American League. Vlad Guerrero's the club leader in homers and RBI. George Springer's got the most runs scored. 3 out of the Jays' last 4 at home did get over the total. They're also 8-2 to the over in their last 10 at any location. Now, the Royals on the other side, they went 70% to the over in their last 10 themselves. Give me Toronto minus 1.5, over 9. Next matchup, little divisional game here. O's at the Red Sox, 7:10 Eastern first pitch. Baltimore's minus $1.25 at the Green Monster, totals 10. Kyle Bradish for Baltimore, Tanner Houck for Boston. Now, Houck's not been good. He's 4-8 on the year with an ERA in the 5s. These Bo Sox pitchers have also been getting shelled at Fenway this year. They allow over 9.4 hits a game in Beantown. They're taking on a Baltimore club who's one of the better hitting teams on the road. They're actually in the top 5 in the majors in road scoring per game. Adley Rutschman leads the roster in hits. Anthony Santander's got the most RBI. 5 out of the O's last 6 road games did get over the posted total. They also went 80% to the over in their last 10 at any location. Boston on the other side went 8-2 to the over in their last 10 themselves. Give me the Orioles minus $1.25, over 10. Next ball game, Pirates Braves, 7:20 Eastern first pitch. Atlanta's minus 210, totals 9.5. Bryce Elder for Atlanta, Mitch Keller for Pittsburgh. And as good as Keller's been this year, the Buccos have really struggled at the dish. They're averaging under 7.8 hits a game on the road. And in their last 10 meetings with Atlanta, the Buccos have been held to just 3.8 runs a game. So if you're into historical trends, certainly want to think about that one there. Now, they also have to face Bryce Elder, who's 11-4 on the season with an ERA in the threes. And it probably doesn't really even matter how Elder ends up pitching, because the Braves score more runs a game than any organization in baseball. These guys can outscore the best of them. Matt Olson, he leads the majors in homers and RBI. Ronald Acuna's got the most stolen bases, and he also has a 6.9 wins above replacement average. Now, the Braves saw their last 3 straight at Truist Park get over the total. No real shock there. These guys score a ton of runs. They're also 60% of the over in their last 10 at any location. Pittsburgh, on the other side, they saw 6 out of their last 10 get over the total themselves. I think the Braves can put this one over by their lonesome. Give me Atlanta -1.5, over 9.5. Next game, little divisional action here. A's Rangers, 8:05 East. Texas is -240 at Globe Life Field. Totals 8.5. Jordan Montgomery for Texas. Paul Blackburn for Oakland. And as much as I want to make a sharp play here and take the A's, well, starting pitcher Paul Blackburn still has an ERA in the 4s, along with a 1.46 whip. And the biggest issue for Oakland this year has been their bats. Not only are they dead last in hits per game, these guys have been held to just 2.8 runs a game in their last 10 gatherings with Texas. And out of 17 road games against the AL West this year, Oakland's gotten the W only 3 times. They're facing Jordan Montgomery, who's definitely benefited from a change of scenery. The lefty's got an ERA in the 3s with Texas, along with a 1.17 whip. And speaking of change of scenery, I'm sure the Rangers as a team, they are probably glad to be back home because despite their egregiously bad play over the past handful of weeks, the Rangers are still leading the league right now in run production at home. Corey Seager's got the highest batting average in the American League. Second highest OPS average in the entire big leagues. It's the highest OPS average in the American League. Marcus Semion's the club leader in hits, and he has an impressive wins above replacement average of 6.1. Now, 6 out of the Rangers' last 10 gatherings with Oakland did fall under the total. So once again, if you're into historical trends, plenty of unders to go around. Now, the A's went 3-1 to the under in their last 4 road games. Give me the Rangers -1.5, under 8.5 runs in the tight window. Next game, Mets-Twins, 8:10 p.m. East. The New York Mets are -120 away from Flushing, Queens. Totals 9 runs. Kodai Senga for New York. Dallas Keuchel for Minnesota. And even though Keuchel hasn't been great, the Twins have played well against the National League, especially at Target Field. The Twins have a .650 win percentage in their interleague home games. Their pitching staff is also striking out more batters a game than any other team besides one. They're facing a Mets lineup who does have a problem getting base runners. These guys are a bottom 3 hit-producing team in the National League. And out of 20 interleague road games, the Mets got the W only 6 times. That's good for a win percentage of just .300 in that category. 7 out of New York's last 10 ball games fell under the total. Minnesota's 60% to the under in their interleague home games. Give me the Twins +$1, under 9. Next game, Padres-Astros, 8:10 p.m. East. Houston's $1.35, totals 8.5. Hunter Brown for Houston, Blake Snell for San Diego. Now, Snell's consistently given these guys chances to win this season. He's got 12 wins on the year, 201 strikeouts. And no real shock here, folks. The lefty's ERA is currently .250. And I'll tell you what, it's really been this San Diego pitching staff that's kept these guys in ball games. They allow fewer runs a game than any other club besides one. They're facing a Houston team who lost 3 out of their last 4 ball games, where Hunter Brown made the start. And these Houston pitchers, they've also had a tough time throwing at Minute Maid Park. The Astros are currently in the bottom 10 in hits allowed per game at home. Houston did go 7-3 to the over in their last 10. They also saw the over cash in 5 out of their last 6 Hunter Brown starts. Give me the Padres plus $1.15, over 8.5. Next contest, it is going to be Guardians, Angels, 9:38 East. Cleveland's minus $1.40, totals 8 runs. Logan Allen for the Guardians, Griffin Canning for Los Angeles. And as bad as the Angels have been, don't sleep on Griffin Canning. The righty's 7-5 with 117 strikeouts. Now, Canning's also got himself a solid 1.19 whip. He's facing a Cleveland lineup who doesn't hit it all too well. These guys are in the bottom 3 in the major leagues in run production per game. And in their last 10 gatherings with the Angels, the Guardians have scored only 3.8 runs per contest. I'll tell you what, if you're a Guardians fan, their games have been kind of boring over the past handful of seasons. They just don't score a whole lot of runs. Not a lot of runs in their games. Their pitching's great. Boring games. Now, injury-wise, some bad news for Angels fans. Shohei, Mickey Moniak, and Luis Rengifo, they're all listed as questionable. Keep an eye on them. And because of that, I'm not sure we're going to see a whole bunch of runs. The under cashed in 3 out of Canning's last 4 starts. Cleveland also went 60% to the under in their last 10 ball games. Give me the Angels plus 1.5, under 8. And with that, folks, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the video. It's in the NL West, Rockies-Giants, 10:15 East. San Francisco's minus 205 at home, totals 8.5. Kyle Harrison for San Francisco, Ty Blach for Colorado. Now, Blach's recorded only 2 wins on the year. He's got a 4.33 ERA. Now, he also saw his whip creep up to a 1.48. Meanwhile, on the road, these Colorado hitters continue to struggle away from Denver. The Rockies are dead last in the National League in run production while traveling. They're facing Kyle Harrison, who's looked good in a handful of innings. The lefty struck out 21 batters in just 15-plus innings. The Giants have also done a nice job keeping their opponents from scoring, especially at home. San Francisco's in the top 5 in the National League and fewest runs allowed on their own diamond. San Francisco's last 3 straight at Oracle Park fell under the total. They're also 7-3 to the under in their last 10 at any location. And out of Harrison's 3 starts this year, the under cashed in all 3 of those outings. Give me San Francisco minus 1.5, under 8.5 runs. And with that, folks, now it is time for our quick pick recap. Give me the Cubs plus $1, over 7.5. White Sox plus $1.10, under 8.5 runs. Mariners minus $1.20, over 8. I'm 11-2 of my last 13 $1.99 daily best plays on my premium page. And that's good for 85% during that stretch. And the good news is, folks, I have another $1.99 daily best play going off each and every single day on that page. The link for that pick is in my bio. Cincinnati Reds minus $1.25, over 10.5. Dodgers minus 165, over 9.5. I have no free pick for you in the Marlins-Phillies game. Give me the Brewers plus 105, under 9. Blue Jays minus 1.5, over 9. Orioles minus $1.25, over 10. Braves minus 1.5, over 9.5 runs. Rangers minus 1.5, under 8.5. Twins plus $1, under 9. Padres plus $1.15, over 8.5. Angels plus 1.5, under 8. With my next and final free pick, give me the Giants minus 1.5, under 8.5 runs.